This is the Lenovo Smart Clock with Google Assistant. Let's see what it can do. Hey everybody, welcome to Tech with Brett, where I help tech work for you. Lenovo sent over their brand new Lenovo Smart Clock with Google Assistant. So today we're going to get it set up and show you all the cool things that it can do. Now this is similar to a Google Home Mini that has access to Google Assistant, but a little bit different than the Google Nest Hub. So we're going to get into all of that today. So first, let's unbox the device. So here on the box, very similar to other devices, it does have Google Assistant built in, so you'll be able to use all of those same commands. And here you will see different calendar events on the screen, and we'll show you everything that the screen can do. But here it shows that it's compatible with YouTube Music, Nest, Pandora, Google Chromecast, Spotify, as well as Philips Hue devices. So here inside the box, this thing is tiny. So look at that. This is the 4-inch Lenovo Smart Clock. And then here inside the box, we have the power cable as well. So that's pretty much it. And then you do have some instructions right here about the smart clock. So we'll move that aside. So on the device itself, you have the little screen right there. You have the two far-field microphones right there at the top. And then on the top, you have a volume up and a down, a little Lenovo logo right there. On the back, you do have the power cable. Here you have the mute mic button, so you can turn off the mic just like that. And then here you have a USB port where you can actually charge a phone with this. So if you set this on like your nightstand or something, you could also still charge your phone as well if you only have one power outlet. On the back, you do have some little rubber pads here to make it so that it does have a little grip and doesn't slide around all over the place. Now you can set this up with an Android device or an iOS device. Just make sure you have the Google Home application installed. So to get this set up, we're going to head into the Google Home application just like any other Google Assistant device. And then we're going to select the Discover tab right here. And here it is found a new device. So I'm going to select Set Up. And then here it is asking if we want to connect to the Lenovo Smart Clock. So yes. And then it's going to connect our smart clock to our Wi-Fi so that we can have access to it without our phone nearby, or even in our home, we'll be able to access everything on the smart clock. So here it's giving us a code, and we can check our phone to see if that's the same code so that we're pairing with the right device. And then if we would like to improve the Google Smart Clock here, we can allow for different stats to be sent to Google. And then we're going to choose which device we want this to be in. So I'm actually going to set this up in my kids' room to try it out. So we're going to select the girls' room. We're going to select Next. Here we can choose which Wi-Fi network we want it to be set up on. So it will connect to your 5 gigahertz as well as 2.4 gigahertz networks. And when we first connect, it does look like there is an update that we'll need to download, so we'll wait a minute for that to be completed. Over here, it's talking about some other information that you need to know about Google Assistant on the smart clock. Now here it's asking me to activate voice match. Voice match allows the smart clock to be able to know that I am talking to it. If my wife talked to it, it would know that she's talking to it, and it can give us personalized information based on our voices. So you can have 6 different voices set up. So I am going to select I agree right here. And then we are just waiting for the smart clock to finish its update before we can get started. And then here we can choose which voice we want our Google Assistant to be. So we can choose voice 1.
Hi, I'm your Google Assistant, here to help you throughout your day.
Or voice 2.
Hi, I'm your Google Assistant, here to help you throughout your day.
So we're going to select 1 and select Next. Here we can confirm our address so that it can give us weather information. And then here it's asking what music services we would like to use. I have a YouTube Music subscription, so I'm going to have that on here. Google Play Music, you could also do Spotify, a free Pandora, or Deezer. So I'm going to select Next. So here it's asking what our default music player will be. So if every time I ask it to play music, I want it to play from Pandora, I would just select Pandora. But I like to play from YouTube Music, so I'm going to select that one right there. You can also ask it to play from any available music service at any time just by specifying by voice. Here it is asking if we would like to link any video services. The smart clock cannot play videos, but it can act as a remote for other Chromecast devices on your TV. I don't use any of these services, so I'm just going to select Next. And then here we can choose a default Chromecast device for the smart clock to control. You could also set up a music speaker or another cast speaker, or even a group of speakers for it to always control, but we're not going to set up any of those today. So we're going to uncheck here and go next. So here it is showing all the information in which we selected. If we want to change any of that, we could select back right here and do that. The update is complete and we're ready to begin using the smart clock. Now, because this is a device with Google Assistant, we can use 2 commands to activate it to start talking to it. You can either use Hey Google or, and that will activate the device, and then you can speak your request. And now you're good to go. So here are some different things that you could do. You could have it play music. You can get answers to live questions. You can get stuff done and play games and more. So we're going to select Finish Setup here. So now let's head over to the Lenovo Smart Clock to learn exactly how things are done. So right on the screen here, you can see that we have the clock as well as the date. If we swipe up from the bottom of the screen, this allows us to change the brightness. So you can set from 10 to 0, or if you tap the circle, that will actually turn on automatic brightness. So right now it's set to 10. And then if we swipe up again here, we could change the volume. So there you can see the volume. It does pretty good, getting loud there. Let's set it to about a 7. So then if we want to turn on Do Not Disturb, we can select that. So if you have any broadcasts or any notifications from reminders, those will not turn on. And then we can go into the settings here. And we have a few other details right there. So now if we want to adjust the clock face, we can just hold down right on the clock. And now it's giving us some options. So here we have one called Playground. Oh, swipes through pretty easy there. So we have Playground. We have weather, where it's going to give us the weather there and the type of weather, so clear. Here we have clouds, so it looks like there's some clouds in the background. We have a retro clock theme. Here we have eclipse, kind of a cool design. Here we have contemporary, so a regular clock with the digital clock in the corner. Here we have prime, which is a more modern style of clock. Here we have timeless. And then here we have the modernist, mono, and that is it for the clock style. So there's actually quite a few different ones you can do. If I select the pencil, it's giving me a few different options here. So right now we have the color set as blue, but we could actually go in and choose a different type of color. So I know my kids are all about the colors, so let's choose this one right over here. So it's a little more bright in the room, and then we're going to select Done. And then that has changed the clock face. And then here we can choose it to go to dark or light. And this will change automatically if there is light in the room. So there's an ambient sensor in here that will adjust that. So let's turn that on. Here we can have the current temperature displayed. So I like to have that. And then here we can have the home screen ticker. So get reminders, alarm suggestions, and more from your assistant. So let's keep that on. And then we select set. So there you can see it has changed the color of the clock. And then here we have the weather up there. So let's try turning off the lights from the Google Assistant and see what it looks like. Okay, Google, turn off the office lights.
You got it. Turning 12 lights off.
And there it gives us some information where we could change the lights. And you could see the screen automatically dimmed. You can't even see it on the video anymore. Let me turn up the brightness there. So there you can see as I increase the brightness, it automatically changed to the white background. But here, if we keep it at about 5, you will have that dark background. Okay, Google, turn on the office lights.
Sure, turning 12 lights on.
All right, and now we have everything back to full brightness. And here we can set that all the way up to 10 so you guys can see it on screen. So then if we wanted to change the brightness of the office lights, we could easily do that, or turn off the room lights right there. Now, if we swipe over, we have the option to set an alarm. So here we can choose what time we want the alarm to be set. So let's actually just set it for a few minutes from now. And you could do this by voice as well, but we're just gonna do it like that and select set. And then we could set it to repeat. We can also change the tone, which this is new for Google Assistant. We have not seen that before on a Google Home device. So we got default tone, modern times, beautiful mind, little sunshine, touch of Zen, about time, or we could have it choose a random sound. So I like the modern times. We're going to select done. Next is a setting for sunrise alarm. So when you turn on a sunrise alarm, the alarm clock will automatically brighten up starting 30 minutes before the alarm goes off. So here over a period of time, you can see that the display is black and it will gradually increase until the screen is as bright as it can be. This is a way of gradually waking you up by lighting up the room instead of having a loud sound blare at you. It will also gradually increase the sound of the alarm when it goes off. So this is what the alarm looks like. I can tap screen to snooze or stop. I can tap the smart clock to snooze. Or I can just say stop. Now back to alarm settings and good morning routines. So as soon as your alarm goes off, it would actually be able to set your good morning routine so that maybe the lights would automatically change or something. So here it says it's going to wake us up in 40 seconds. So if you're looking at the screen, you could know that that's happening, and you could probably tap to stop it. There you go, alarm stopped. And then here you can adjust the alarm timer and volume. So the alarm and the timer volume are always the same. So there you can adjust it. You can change the snooze length to anything. So we have 10 minutes right there. We could go up or down just like that. You can actually snooze the alarm by tapping your clock so that it will snooze. That's kind of cool. Select done. And then there we have the alarm tone again. So that's alarms, and here you can quickly turn them on and off like that. And if we come over here, we can see the weather right now. So it's partly cloudy at 86 degrees. And then we can swipe over and we can see upcoming events. So here, workout tomorrow morning. And so this is automatically pulling from my Google Calendar. So those are the 4 different screens that you have right there. Now, anytime if you want to go back to the home screen, you just swipe from the left side and that will take you right back home. So very similar to what we have seen on some of the other devices. So if we go back to the home screen, if you tap on the clock, that will actually just take you right to the alarms. If you tap on the weather, that will take you right to the weather screen. And then if you tap on the weather again,
It'll be partly cloudy with a forecasted high of 86 and a low of 58. Right now it's 86 and partly cloudy.
It's going to tell you the forecast for the next few hours, and you can scroll through and see a bit more information there. There we go. So then if we want to change the volume, you can quickly do that right here. Let's play some music. Okay, Google, play my new jams playlist.
Sure, here's your Google Play Music playlist called New Jams.
Sounds pretty good. Very similar to the Google Home Mini. Now if we swipe down from the top, we have a few more settings. So here we could go into our alarms. So we just tap that, it goes into our alarm settings. Next we have good night. Now I don't know exactly what this does, but currently it's showing a nap time timer that will set a 20-minute timer. Or here we have the option to play music. So that will just automatically
Playing some music on YouTube
start
Music.
playing music from your selected provider. And then if we pull down one more time here, you can see the option to quickly turn off or on the lights in the girls' room. So that's the room I had this set up in, so I can quickly turn those lights on and off, which is really nice. So let's dive back into the phone and see what other settings we have to change. So once we are in the Google Home application, you can see that here it was playing some music and we could play it or stop it right there. But we're gonna go into the Home tab. I'm gonna scroll down to the girls' room, and here you can see the girls' room clock. So here we can see currently what music is playing. We could pause, play, or change the volume right there. We can even skip through the track, and here we could select stop casting. So if we open that back up, here you can see the volume, and as I adjust it here, it adjusts it over there. And then I can go into the settings right here and see a few more things that I can do. So very similar to other Google Home devices, you have the alarm settings. So if you have any alarms or timers set up, you can come in here and adjust those. You could change the name, change your address, choose the home or the room it's in. You can also add this to a music group. So if you would like to play music on the entire home with other Google Home devices, you will be able to do that right here. So I'm actually going to add this to my home group, so when I play music on all of the home, it will add it to this device as well. So then down here you can set digital well-being. So this allows you to set filters. Maybe you don't want the kids playing music at a certain time. You can come in here and set up certain filters, whether it be just for types of songs that it plays or time. You can choose what plays over here. So here we could have it only filter music for certain people, or here we can choose that everyone that plays music on this Lenovo Smart Clock will have the filters as well. So we're going to select that, and then we are going to choose just this device. You could filter multiple devices at once. And then here we are going to choose what we want filtered. So we want to make sure it's only playing YouTube Kids. It is using YouTube Restrict Mode, which YouTube doesn't work on here. YouTube TV filtered content, yeah, we want all those. Or you can choose to block all videos. So this really is important for other smart displays, not really for the smart clock. And then here we could allow any music or only allow non-explicit music. So I want to make sure that that is on, or you could completely block all music, and then we select next. And then additional controls, so you could have it block calls, you could have it restrict answering calls, and then you could also have it only allow certain family-friendly actions that have been previously set up. So then we can set up downtime. So downtime allows you to choose certain times when it actually turns off or you can't access Google Assistant. So here we can set school nights. So on the weekends, we don't have as much downtime, or we can choose exactly which days. So let's just choose school nights, and then downtime begins, let's do 9:00 p.m. and it ends at 7 a.m. So we don't want kids using it after or before those times. So then we are all done. So now those are all set up. And here it's telling you what you have set up. So then here we do have some accessibility features. So we can have it play a sound at the start or the end of our request. We could have audio descriptions on screen. Here you can actually turn on screen reader, color correction, color inversion, or you could have it magnify the screen. So you do have a few options there. And then you also have high contrast text right there, so you can see it adjusted the weather right there. And then down here you can turn on preview program. We do have a night mode, so night mode will automatically set the volume lower at a certain time of night. So here we could have night mode start at 8 p.m. and then we could have it end at 10 a.m. so that any time between those, it's going to stay quiet. You can also make sure do not disturb is on. So we have a smart doorbell. So if somebody rings the doorbell, it would not give a notification while night mode is enabled. And then here we have the maximum volume at night. So let's say my kids want to play music at night. Instead of it blasting every single night, we can have it set to our lower volume so that it does not do that. So now we're going to select back. You could pair a Bluetooth speaker to this. So if you have another Bluetooth speaker in the room already, you could make it so this plays its music on the Bluetooth speaker. It won't play the Google Assistant reactions. It will just play music on that speaker. And then here we could set a default speaker. So let's say we just have this as the clock in the room and we want to play on our Chromecast in the room. You could set the Chromecast or other Google Home devices as the default speaker for this device. And then here we could choose a default TV. Like I said before, we don't want it to play on any TVs, so we're not going to do that. And then here you have the personalized results for this. You have home screen and notification settings. There's the YouTube settings, which don't really apply to this. If you have this in a group and it's playing off from the rest of the group, here you can come and change the group delay. And then you have some settings where you can remove your voice match or remove the device and change the time format. So nothing too crazy in there, but that is pretty much what you get with the Lenovo Smart Clock. So it's a Google Assistant with a full screen for clock, as well as for music controls and some of those other smart home controls, which are really nice. So here you can see the size difference between the Lenovo Smart Clock and the Google Home Mini. So they're very similar in size. They do have this same nice fabric texture on the side. The Google Home Mini only has the mute switch. You do have volume controls by tapping each side, where the Lenovo Smart Clock, you can do the volume controls here at the top by pressing the buttons there or by swiping on the screen, which is pretty cool. Now, if we compare it to the Google Nest Hub, you can see that you do get a much bigger screen with the Nest Hub. Over here, you have the volume controls on the back. I really like the ambient sensor on the Nest Hub, so I'm glad that's included here on the Smart Clock. Some of the things you do get on the Google Nest Hub is that you have better access to more of your smart controls here. So you can see that when you swipe down, you see a lot more information. There's no other details there. I do have the same turn on and off the lights in a specific room at once, which is really nice. But yeah, so there it is. The sound is probably a little bit louder on the smart display, and the Google Nest Hub can play YouTube and other videos where the Smart Clock cannot. So that's your quick comparison there. So now let's try a few different commands that you would ask the Google Assistant. Okay, Google, set the temperature to 76 degrees.
Sure, setting the hallway to 76 degrees.
So on other smart displays, you will see a pop-up on screen. Hey Google, how far away is the Energy Solutions Arena?
You are 37.6 miles away from Vivint Smart Home Arena.
Hey Google, what does a dog sound like?
This is a beagle.
Hey Google, how many days till Christmas?
Christmas Day will be in 170 days.
Hey Google, show me pictures of Adele.
Showing your photos.
There is no ambient mode like you would see on the smart display, but you can ask it to play certain things from your Google Photos album. It will show a little slideshow and then stop. Hey Google, set the office lights to green.
You got it, changing 6 lights to green.
When using the USB charging port on the back of the Smart Clock, it is USB 2.0, so it did charge my phone, but at a slow pace. It worked much better for my daughter's Fitbit Ace 2. The ambient mode on the Smart Clock works extremely well and is able to get to a very dim level. So here, once the lights are turned off, you will see that it turns to the dark mode. And then as I turn off the rest of the lights in the room, it dims all the way down until you can barely see it on camera. But in the room, if it's pitch black and your eyes are adjusted, you will be able to see the time. Even though there is no routines button on the Smart Clock, you can access them by voice, unlike on the Google Nest Hub where you do have a routines button in the home control settings. You will receive notifications from the Nest Hello doorbell where you can
Someone's
talk
at the
to the
front
person
door.
at the door, ignore, or set preset responses. Hey. Hey, how's it going? Okay, we'll see you later. And lastly, with Google Duo, you are able to make voice calls to those that have signed up with the Google Duo service.
Calling Carrie Bristow.
What?
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Fine. What do you want?
Oh, I'm just testing out voice calling. It actually works through Google Duo.
Cool.
All right, thanks.
Yep. Bye.
Hey Google. So that's it for the Lenovo Smart Display. There's actually quite a few little things that you can do on this little device. So if you're looking for something with a little bit more of a visual appeal than something like the Google Home Mini, this is definitely the device for you. I think this is going to work perfect in my girls' room. They're gonna love being able to see the clock. So when I say at this time we need to go to bed, they do have that visualization. I'm really excited about what this can do. Now, it is a very small screen, but I like that it has a small screen where it doesn't have all the video functions like the Google Nest Hub can do. I like that it's more simplified, where it's just focused on the clock and a few of the smart home functions, which my kids will really enjoy having in their room. Now, if you guys have any further questions about the Lenovo Smart Clock, please let me know in the comments below. And if you would like to see other videos I've made all about controlling your Google Assistant, make sure you select the playlist over here on the side. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.